Oh, yeah, welcome back, and thank you very much. Yeah. Man, I said welcome back because yesterday we told you we'll be back, and indeed we are back. It's Friday, freaky, funky. So there's going to be music, dance, drama, excitement, choreography, paper review, choreography, everything else. Amma, you look lovely. I like your dress. It's amazing. Oh, man, I'm blushing. Oh.
You are blushing on my behalf.
No, I'm blushing on your behalf. What's the point?
well, Ghana, good morning to you. And thank you once again for joining us. Of course, if you don't wake up to watch us, we certainly don't have work to do. So we're grateful that you have woken up and you're allowing us into your homes this very morning. Of course, it's a beautiful Friday morning. We're just going into the weekend. So we plan to set the pace for you, to lead you smoothly into that weekend where you can have fun, relax, chill with the family, hang out with friends, and certainly get ready for another week.
George,
how are you? And how was your night?
You know when you said smoothly, Acrobato came to mind because there's, even if you want to die, please die smoothly.
I know. That man is something. I mean, I watched him reading news one day and it was hilarious.
Charlie, yesterday the president surprised everybody.
Wasn't it a surprise, really?
It was because
his name had always been tipped, and we knew he's a vigilante. So for me,
he was one of the forerunners, but also was lawyer Akutu Ampao, lawyer Philip Addison, and many had thought that it would have gone in the direction of one of those. But yes, here's Martin Amidu. My big question: will it change anything? Will it, because this is more a governance issue than which thing or whichever it is that people want to.
But you know one surprising thing? Yesterday, we spoke to Kofi Adams, the organizer of the NDC. I don't know if his views are the views of the party. He says Martin Amidu is a better person, and he's just going to witch hunt NDC officials. And so I don't know if that is the views of the party.
Well, I'm sure this won't be the first time we've heard him say that, because oftentimes when Martin Amidu was all in the news against Woyome, I mean, many of the cases he's been in, it seemed as if he was going against his party, which I think wasn't the norm. Most people wouldn't do that. Most Ghanaians would cower to the people they serve or they work with. And so it was different for them. So it's not really surprising to hear Kofi Adams say that. Oftentimes, many of the people from the NDC side have said something to seem as if Martin Amidu was just witch hunting them. But certainly, I think on the whole, Ghanaians are excited because this is the first time. We want to see what really it will bring to the forebear. Like Johnny says, it's a governance issue. So we want to see what difference it will bring to it. But I, for one, I'm scared for him, knowing how Ghanaians usually do their things. They will hail you, but they'll be the same people to say, crucify him, crucify him. So I'm hoping that he can stay with that independent mindset he seems to have, even as of now. He won't be corrupted by the, the way he was brought into power, because certainly this is you from another side being brought into power by a particular party. And also, could that party even influence him as time went on?
So
these are questions that
he's not going to work alone.
Certainly.
I found his name quite interesting. Martin Alamisi. What was it?
Benza.
Bez Khalifa. Oh.
No, it's Benza Kaiser.
Okay, Benza Kaiser.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Burns. Sorry, it's Burns Kaiser. I saw people spell it like the car, the Mercedes Benz, but it's B-U-R-N-E-S.
Okay, so Benz, Ford, Kaiser Schnapp.
No, but his name is interesting. I would like to know what they mean and why it was chosen for him. The Lamisi is what even kills me.
No, this is not necessarily those unique names.
Yes, Lamisi is a female name we know. So when I saw the Lamisi, I don't know if it made it.
That's romantic.
But it was.
So you say Alamisi Day?
Yeah.
Stop
giving ideas.
Oh, Alamisi Boo.
Yeah. But
I mean,
security too is another
yesterday
issue.
when he went home, his wife was like, Alamisi Boo, Alamisi Day.
She should be proud of
it. It certainly didn't happen. But security is also another detail we may have to look at, because recently we've even had people, going into judges' homes and just breaking it down and claiming it as theirs, and all other security issues that seem to even threaten us as Ghanaians. We would want something like that for him, because right now the Right to Information Bill has not been passed. There are other things that threaten his office. So
we will talk more about that. George has news, yes?
Yep, he does.
Is that
all of
news,
it.
Benz,
all the news for you.
Ford,
Kaiser.
Escalade. Escalade.
That is someone's name.
No, I'm not making fun of it. I'm just.
It's an interesting name.
Yeah, it's a very interesting name. I'm Beresford, so when I.
You are?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I hear.
Say again. He uses it on Facebook.
So when I hear names that are.
I will come back to that name, Beresford. Anyway, George, take us with the news.
So let's run you through some news here on NewDay. thanks for staying. Let's start off with the presidency, where President Akufo-Addo has named anti-corruption campaigner Martin Amidu as special prosecutor. The president expressed his confidence in him to deliver.
Martin Amidu was a former Attorney General and Minister for Justice in the Mills NDC administration. The anti-corruption campaigner single-handedly challenged the legality of payment of some 51.2 million cedis to businessman Alfred Wayome, a feat President Akufo-Addo acknowledged.
I can also personally vouch for his public-spiritedness. We were on opposite sides in a series of landmark constitutional cases in the period leading up to and in the early years of the Fourth Republic, well known to students of constitutional law, which helped shape the evolution of the Constitution of the Fourth Republic. As Deputy Attorney General as he then was, he conducted those cases with the fairness which should be a cardinal feature of the conduct of any self-respecting lawyer.
The President expressed confidence the former Attorney General will execute his mandate with integrity and fairness.
Fully convinced that Mr. Martin Amidu, a prominent legal personality who held the high office of Attorney General of the Republic in the government of the late President Professor John Evans Atta Mills, has the requisite integrity, competence, courage, and independence of character to discharge effectively the responsibilities of this new office.
Away from this presidency, let's move to the floor of Parliament, where the second witness in the cash for seed scandal, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has trivialized claims that the title president, as presented in a sponsorship package for the GBA, was referring to the president of the Millennium Excellence Awards Foundation and not the president of Ghana. He described the scenario as a comedy of contradictions.
The MP for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, seconded the motion on the 5th of January that sought for the constitution of the investigative committee. His testimony was no different from that of the first witness. Okudzeto maintained he has documentary evidence to show clearly the president referred to in the sponsorship package to expatriate businesses was Nana Akufo-Addo and not Ashim Morton, who is the president of the Millennium Excellence Foundation.
Sit on the gold president's table. You have exclusive high round table for 10 within the presidential circle. And the main issue that we have highlighted is the not only sitting by the president, but the exclusive private dinner for 2 with the president at a selected date. So I submit, Mr. Chairman, that the reasonable man reading this letter cannot come to the conclusion that the president being referred to is the president of the Millennium Excellence Foundation.
He insisted the issues surrounding the event amounted to corruption, which needs to be investigated.
To provide account numbers of our ministries, tell them which officer, which room, in this case room 308, that go there and present your check. Why do you do all of this when a private organization, you say, has come up with an idea? To me, looking at all these facts, clearly somebody at the ministry wanted the expatriates to know that we are watching and we are going to know who has donated.
The committee continues sitting tomorrow as witnesses from the Trades Ministry appear before it.
We don't know how many witnesses the ministry is bringing, so we don't know how tomorrow will go. If we're able to deal with the ministry tomorrow, we expect to deal with the event organizers on Monday, and then we may speak to some of the expatriates. So on the whole, all things being equal, hopefully by Wednesday, we should have finished the sittings.
Yeah, finally. And sittings, we are told, would continue today. But let's still stay on this development. I will answer your questions the way I understand it. Those were the words of the Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak to the chairman of the special committee investigating the cash for seed scandal. The chairman of the committee, Kwesi Amaya-Treme, on the other hand, flared up over what he considered leading questions from Deputy Minority Leader James Kluche Aveji.
I've asked you a specific
you
question.
Asked the
we
question.
Can't allow you to
Chairman,
go round.
You
like
ask the question the way you want. I answer the way I understand your question. So you be patient with me to answer. If you are not satisfied, you can still ask a further question. But if I'm answering, you are interrupting me. Do you really want me to answer the question?
The Minority Chief Whip, Muntaka Mubarak, on whose motion the committee was constituted, was enraged following the chairman's repeated questions to him to clarify if sponsorship was part of public resources. Citing Section 16B of the Financial Administration Regulation, he said the Trade Ministry's issuance of receipts to some expatriates after paying various sums during the Ghana Expatriate Awards makes the money public funds. He alluded to a letter in which the expatriates were directed to room 308 at the Trade Ministry where checks were to be paid. The chairman of the committee, Kwesi Amaya-Treme, asked Muntaka to clarify if sponsorship could be categorized as public resources.
I have asked this question about 3 times, and you have gone around it the same way. And we can't continue the repetitions of asking questions and the same question. And then if you have the answer, you have it. If you don't have it, you don't go around.
The chairman earlier accused the deputy minority leader for asking leading questions.
We rather ask questions to elicit information from the witness.
When it is a factual inquiry, leading questions are permitted. We are a tribunal of fact, not of law.
A tribunal of fact is based on law. Your basis is based on the law. So I'm asking him to stop asking the leading questions, because you ask questions and you are providing the answer for the witness, and it's not fair.
You can't rule and you don't even allow me to even speak. Why? Even if you are going to kill me, you should let me speak before you kill me. Why? You have rules, so I shouldn't speak? No, we don't work like that.
Muntaka Mubarak was later cross-examined by the 4 other members of the committee and discharged.
Meanwhile, the Asanwasi MP has described as unnecessary some of the questions posed to him at the hearing. He claimed he has been treated as corporate rather than a witness.
They were not seeing me as someone who was to help the committee to do its work. But unfortunately, it didn't appear to me that was what it was. But it was about, can we find a way of trying to discredit what he's saying so that at the end of the day, we can say that, oh, after all, the thing didn't happen. But I think it's beyond reasonable doubt.
Away from the cash for seed scandal, let's move to the Ashanti region, where 2 police officers have been shot dead by unknown gunmen at Drobonso in the Ashanti region. Another police officer is currently receiving treatment at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital after sustaining gunshot wounds. Here's a report by my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar.
The Ashanti Regional Command has set up efforts to arrest 8 armed men who shot and killed 2 police officers at Drobonso in the Ashanti region Thursday morning. The deceased were part of a team returning from night patrol at Drobonso Tent City. Ashanti Region Police PRO ASP Julian Obing told TV3 that preliminary investigations indicate the patrol team was ambushed at the section of the road which had been barricaded with locks.
What is the current state of the injured person?
Let me just say that my command makes me understand that he is responding to treatment.
Have you so far been able to make any arrests?
We haven't, but when we got the information, we initiated investigations. There are further investigations that's ongoing to get these perpetrators to book.
She said efforts are being made to arrest the perpetrators. The body of the deceased have been deposited at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital morgue.
Just know you're a fingertip away from all our latest news updates. Just go onto the Google Play Store and download our free news app. I'm George Quinning. We're going for a quick commercial break. When we come back, NewDay continues. Good morning.
Well, this Saturday, there's going to be an interesting, entertaining activity going on at Burma Camp. And this we're going to talk about because there's Gymkhana, and it's going to be done by the Recce Regiment of the Ghana Army. And I have Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Richard Osei. He's the commander of the Recce Regiment, and also Captain Princeton Team Amwa, squadron leader of the 3 Mounted Squadron. They are from Gonda Barracks in Burma Camp. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we? So Saturday, we're coming to Burma Camp for Gymkhana. Tell us about that.
All right, thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers. Gymkhana itself is an Indian, 19th century Indian word that simply meant a place of assembly. But over time, it was altered to mean a place where skill-based events are held. In the equestrian environment, it is usually organized by established and known saddle and polo clubs, like the Ghana Armed Forces Saddle and Polo Club, yes, where various horse-related sports are held. That is the meaning of Gymkhana, basically, yes.
Nice.
Captain, so how often is this done? Is it done once a year?
Well, in the past 2 years, we've done it once a year, but this time we want to still open it up to everybody so that we can have more of these events organized and then bring more people on board so that we can have at least twice in a year and increase the level up once we get the participants and a big base for it.
So what do you do for Gymkhana?
Okay, so for Gymkhana, like my commander said, there's an equestrian sport. We have horse riders and horsemen with horses doing various stunts and silence drill. You know, the army is full of drills.
Right.
So we train these horses such that we can have some of them doing silent drill with their riders. They communicate with them and then they execute what communication we give to them.
So they don't say anything to them, but they do actions, and then the dogs move, the horses
move.
Right. But will it only be horses on that day? What other activities are you going to be doing?
Yes, on that day, we are going to have a number of activities. It's actually Gymkhana and a military tattoo.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So the Gymkhana aspect is the equestrian part
of it.
We are going to have a dog display where dogs will come and exhibit various skills, and their handlers will give them instructions to follow. We're also going to have gymnastics. You know, we have physical training instructors who will come and do their own things there. And then we're also going to have a fireworks display at the tail end of it.
The whole Burma Camp idea, people fear to enter Burma Camp. Why should they come there? Are they safe to come there?
We get this question everywhere we go to. Yes, they are very. In fact, you should feel very safe. It is the one of the safest part of the country, I should say. There should be no fear coming into Burma Camp. In every environment, there are rules that you live by. I can't come into your studio and disrupt your services. In Burma Camp, we say don't litter. If you are driving, don't run through the red light. Don't pass here. But we are very friendly people. That is why, it's one of the reasons why we want to open up for everybody, the entire public. Admission is free. So
for those who don't know where Recce Regiment is and the 3 Mounted Squadron, where this is going to be held, guide us.
Okay, so from the entrance of Burma Camp, we have route signage on the road to direct every person who is coming to 3 Mounted Squadron. Again, we've told everybody in the Ghana Armed Forces that we're having this event, so you just have to say Ponko line and they take you there.
Line,
that's very well.
Why did they call it Ponko line? I'm curious though.
Well, the horses.
Why did they call it Ponko line?
It's just because we call Ponko in our language. So where we keep them, that has been the name. Yes.
But you're inviting everyone else to come there. Are we going to, civilians, I'm speaking for civilians, are we going to be allowed to participate in the activities, or we're just there to watch?
Well, for now, we are just there to watch. Right. We actually want to generate interest in equestrianism in the country as a whole. So when you come, when you see horses on display, and all these things are being done by soldiers, we want to, in fact, we are open to the public, those who want to come in and train in horse riding. We have that activity going on. So yes, for now, for these It is just for you to see, and then you generate the interest. Subsequently, you can come and register with us, and then
for every other event,
you can bring you.
I see. So the event is tomorrow. What time is it?
So it's starting at 1400.
Okay.
That's 2 p.m.
That's 2 p.m. Okay.
And it's ending at 7 p.m. in the evening
that's
because of the fireworks.
1800. Okay.
1900.
I see. Interesting.
So was it free?
It's free.
It's free.
Absolutely free.
Absolutely free.
Wow.
So what's the number? What kind of, what number are you looking at expecting there?
Our initial plan was expecting about 1,000, but I think now we are anywhere, 2,000, 2,500. Bring your kids.
Okay.
We're going to set up a play area for children so that they can also have fun as they watch the horses.
But the children are scared of the guns, the rifles, the armory that will be there. So how do we handle that?
They are not going to be there.
No,
they won't be there.
Okay. Yes, and they don't need to be afraid of that. Okay. No, children, you'll be surprised that they will rather
want to touch.
They will rather want to have a feel and play and ask questions.
Interesting that you're doing this for free. So at what cost does it come to you? Because we are concerned about our army.
Yes, the cost comes.
Somebody has a donation to make.
Yes, in fact, we have our head sponsor who is Unibank, and they've been very supportive of this event. We have other sponsors like you. We consider you a sponsor. We've had a lot of other media houses. We've had Star Life Assurance also coming in big for us. So yes. The only cost to the armed forces, as you say, comes with the human resources, the other material, the horses, and the space itself that we are using.
We're grateful to you, Lieutenant Colonel ARSA. Grateful. So Saturday, tomorrow, from 2 p.m. to 7, there's going to be full action there at the Recce Regiment, 3rd Mounted Squadron, Gymkhana.
Ponko line. Don't forget that part.
Gymkhana.
Those who can't say the whole mounted squadron, just say Ponko line. You find your way there. So we've been speaking to Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Richard Osai. He's the commander of Recce Regiment, as well as Captain Prince and Team Amwa, squadron leader of 3 Mounted Squadron. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for your time, gentlemen. And we'll take a break at this point. DJ Sly is ready to regale you with some sumptuous music on the ones and twos. Enjoy.
Welcome back. It's time for newspaper headlines. Let's start off with a finder, which says, Amidu, the special one, to prosecute anti-graft agenda. That's coming from the president. Also, the Minister of Railways Development has sent 14 workers home for being late to work. Also, 2 police officers killed, 1 other hurt by robbers. CPC supplies cocoa powder to free SHS students, and that's an insert of the managing director of CPC in the person of Nana Ajanim Boateng the first. Johnny, Amidu, the special one. That's a nice caption. Special prosecutor has been named.
The point is that, as I said earlier, this may have come as a big surprise to a lot of political watchers. But this is more for me a governance issue than a political issue. And I also think that the special prosecutor is not going to work alone. He is going to have a board and some other people, one from Shraj, one from the police, one from so we're going to have an amalgamation of officials who are going to work along with him. I just wish him well, and I hope that the issues of witch hunting will not be in there. I also wish that we will be able to deliver on this mandate. But key, and this is a very passionate appeal to Parliament, to the President, and to everybody who matters. Can we have the right to information bill now? Because the last time we were close to passing it, and then, so now we have to start the process all over again. Can we now have it? Because without the right to information bill or law, Mr. Amidu's work may be just a one-man thing, if you will. Because if I have not read or I do not have information to come and give him a heads up as to what is happening somewhere, how does he know? Because he can't be going around sniffing for things. So we need to help him. And we say that the right to information law or bill will help us do this. So can we have the right to information law? It's very, very important. And that's my only passionate appeal. I'm happy that the president is working at a supersonic speed. He has signed on to 5 bills already. So we have 5 laws, including a special prosecutor. Now, what he has to do is to have the right to information bill. Certainly. And he has told Parliament to expedite action on this one like they did for his ministers. I agree, but the right to information law. Mr. President, good morning to you. Good morning. And while you have your breakfast, I just want to remind you that the right to information law is important.
Certainly. But Johnny, for me, when we talk about the special prosecutor, amongst the many other things, one thing that strikes key for me, first of all, is the fact that we looked at competence, or I believe the president looked at competence when he issued, or accepted the nomination of Mr. Martin Amidu as special prosecutor. And I'm happy. At least it comes again to explain to Ghanaians or to demonstrate that we're open for whatever works for Ghana as a whole. I believe it's a very difficult thing for the president to go out of his party to select someone on the other side who he thinks, irrespective of the party colors, you are championing a right cause, you're being a vigilante, and so you can fit this, platform, or you can fit the shoes of whatever office has been created. So I'm happy for that. Kudos to President for continuing it. Of course, it's not the first, because we saw the minister at large. No, he's
plenipotentiary.
Dr.
Mahama.
Yes, Dr. Mahama is, right? Yes. So he's also from another party, but he's come on board. So it's not the first, but again, it's a big office, and so we're grateful. But the other part where I'm not happy with is the start of the kick-off, the propaganda that's being propagated. Because, Johnny, whenever we start to talk bad or negative about a particular office, then it seems to create the intent that people are just going to be negative about it. People are always going to witch hunt. Can we just see Mr. Martin Amidu as being an individual, independent body, a lawyer, someone who understands the law and is going to deal according to the law even before he starts his work? Because I, for one, just as a citizen, if I hear people on the other front saying he's going to start witch hunting, then everything that he seems to have done, I would think, okay, once he calls an NDC person, then it's witch hunting. But if he calls MPP, it's just probing. No. Can we just accept that he's supposed to act as an independent body, and he's going to look at cases in a fair manner before he even starts?
You see, I thought that the word witch hunting would mean that you are on the opposing side. Right. And then so you are coming for us. But this is a member from the NDC. Right. And I would want us to look at the special prosecutor, not with political eyes, because the role of the special prosecutor is supposed to be an independent person. In any case, there's a man who's been former Deputy Attorney General. There's a man who actually partnered, I think, President Mills in the bid for presidency some time ago. So he's a potential vice president as well. Here's a man whose credibility in terms of the legal practice is not questionable, and the fact that even among his own folks, he's had a dissenting view when he thinks that things are not going on well. So, and if, well, for whatever reason, you may also say that because he belongs to a different political ideology, that's the NDC's. If you are in the MPP and you mess up, or you go the other way, he will be able to deal with you without fear or favor, because the president has given him that power to say. And yesterday, what the president said at his announcement was that, well, he doesn't doubt his credibility, he can vouch for it, and his competence and the rest. And the president himself being a lawyer, so we expect a lot from Mr. Martin Amidu. I pray that God gives him strength to deliver. I pray that he stays forthright. I pray that he works within the remits of the law. I pray that he doesn't allow himself to be influenced either ways. I pray that he doesn't do witch hunting, whichever it is. And I pray that he stays focused. And speaking about that, his family, his immediate family, as his wife and his children, must give him the full support. Because imagine that if he goes home and there's fire on the mountain at home, how does he come to the public office to deliver, with a clean and clear mind? If a man is worried at home, he will be worried in public office. Yes. Is it that he comes to work to sleep, or he comes to work to pick the case, it doesn't look through properly, takes it there, then it's thrown out, or whatever it is. Let's try and save the nation some money, and I hope it gets done.
Finally, I hope certain characteristics or traits that he holds, for which everybody seems to uphold his integrity, his competence, will be seen amongst all politicians in future. This is something we should learn. Irrespective of, I'm not joking. It's a desire, it's a passion. I've prayed to God for them, so I pray. Don't joke. As you were praying, I pray that in this year we will see potential people. Politicians who are credible, who have uphold their integrity. Certainly, we need that, and who will work work for the people, fight for the right of their people, and do the best they can for the people that are there to serve. But another story is the minister.
Joking,
I'm not joking. This one is for real.
I don't like jokes, please. I'm a very.
You don't think it can happen?
How?
Johnny, it can. It's just the mindset and the willpower. If we, the citizens, put them to task, and we're looking up to that, such that if we see you are a politician who is being, corrupt, who's being, your integrity doesn't seem to match what you say, then we all come at you. We all put you in for that.
So you're suggesting that, for example, if somebody wants to become an MP, and we all know what the duty of an MP is, to legislate and to lobby, and then he stands on the platform to say, oh, when I come, I'll build a hospital here, your children will go to school for free, your children will do this, blah, blah, blah. He's an MP. And then, you vote for him on that score. And then he gets into parliament and starts telling you, oh, my job is not to find you jobs. My job is not to do A, B, C, and D. That's integrity.
Yes, that is a lie right there. Because why promise things you know you won't fulfill?
We have to wait for the next election to punish them.
No, even before, Johnny, you should see, sometimes in the character the person portrays, even before they get the platform, you know if they really mean what they're saying, or they're just playing around, or it's just words. Ghanaians now no longer play with just words. We actually look for substance. So even as you speak, if you know you can't do it, immediately we won't wait for another term. Maybe there's in the constitution, I don't know, but if you can form a referendum and sign to it and say, no, this person promised A, B, C, D, but we haven't seen that being done. Even in the first year, we haven't seen a trait of it, and he's going back on his words, then we can take you in for that.
Well, I mean, I've seen precedents earlier last year where the bribery allegation came up. The standing orders of parliament were very clear what had to be done. But what was done? They went against it. So and so, which is why the committee sitting now, really, I think it would be a wild goose chase. I mean, if you look at how the conversation is going on at this particular point, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think that we are all being dragged to a certain point, because yesterday, for example, Honorable Kujato Blakwa went before the committee. He had his petition or his document, which has been presented to the committee already. Then he comes on to want to read the full script, and it read the full script, and then when it was done, a suggestion that, oh, now the public has heard it, the public will decide. He cannot decide what the public thinks. So then I asked myself, is it for the public to think, or is it for the committee to decide? Which was it?
Obviously.
Now we're trying to make the whole thing.
We've moved from the public thinking, because that's when the stories, the allegations were made.
So now we're trying to present the thing, and that's the indication I got, but present the thing like an NDC against MPP thing, and MPP against NDC. The reason the committee is bipartisan is so that we take a nationalistic view of the whole thing. If we claim, indeed, that sitting by the president and paying money for it is detestable and an insult to the presidency, we must make sure that we treat the matter thoroughly, so that it doesn't happen in future. If we start doing undertones of NDC and MPP, and you could tell the chairman and the ranking member, I mean, nearly arguing, and I was not so happy at all. Children are watching. Ordinary people are watching. What are they picking from it? What are they picking from it? Parliament is supposed to be bipartisan. It's supposed not to be. So when we pick up issues, we must discuss them dispassionately and without political coloration. Yesterday, I saw a bit of political coloration, and I'm not happy about it. And it tends to want to perhaps push the chairman. So the chairman is presented as somebody who's averse about all of what's going on. I don't
But like he said, they were there to deal with facts, and facts was based on the law. And so if there was a procedure to follow, because I heard the chairman raise a concern that one of the investigators or whoever's on the panel was asking leading questions, and he thought it shouldn't be so. I felt at that point, rightly so, if you think it's not supposed to be leading questions, can't we just go about it in the better way, in the way the procedures outline? Ask the open-ended questions, let the person being investigated speak what the truth is or whatever facts he has on the ground, and let's move on, rather than this back and forth. Because oftentimes when they sit like this, it ends up wasting everybody's time when they go back and forth and going around in circles. Let's just delve with the facts, let's get the facts straight, and let's move on. That is time to rant, Johnny.
I don't want to rant about this topic.
Oh yes,
yeah,
we have to.
I don't want me. Okay, well, the people want to. Me, I don't want to rant about. My position is very clear. There's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. My position is very clear. So any day yes, any day at all. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. My position is clear. That's my rant.
On that note, we are ranting.
They will rant, yes.
So people on the streets are ranting there with George Quinning about LGBT.
This is what it feels like.
Today we are wrapping up discussions on LGBT, and I'm located at the 31st Market here at Makola in Accra. I want to sample thoughts of some traders here on LGBT society in Ghana's call to decriminalize unnatural carnal knowledge. This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
Yeah, be a bibia, Naso for Suna manager heading. It's a best Nyamiasem, a common chamber, Cassach, but it was some who say, Obani be madan and Africans and especially in Ghana for maybe high and so into no first Yamia Semna said the cobos or mania say we dan sana put me for soon with their bagus so or qua or best son it yabe the Yamia Sem form cassa into a mufo.
As science started spiritually, young bomb pie mount, young bomb pie mandation. Omo yes anu onyame pe na otimisi sane pakoma no onyame sisan buni there sometimes is very good say be man physical punishment eyepa sometimes who call ye bibi no say nanu no ye bumi pa onu po betimi a check into physical punishment na ye but apart from that Ghanaians nyina Christians nyina ye were responsibility e say ye mbom pai man yam bomb pie seriously. I feel who man kitting kitty when would the Omanya say anything Yamipe no best sound. Whom pie born casa no best sound. But in Quadan kitting kitty or Mumbano, and say young who said you won't kanya miasem. Na yan talk about sex. Homosexualism, lesbianism, yan cano munti and yan chum say and yet. Yamisi yes, we yes, I no me no bebausu. And now sometimes Ubenya ya different. Na later on watch we won't. Inti nkwadan kitikiti ono omuba no ese yan ni omunka sex asem ni homosexualism lesbianism enfo nka na yan che consequences so wo mu.
Okay, Ghana Ace Commission mu ye survey bi survey ni nkofo no mu ye homosexuality no mu ye be 30,000 Ghana edosun inti hu ni say bia 20 years to come 30 years to come numbers ni be dosun inti betima legalize
it's a Christian country. Now prayer is the key. Ye be bomb pioneer who say ye who say ade no in 20
years and 30
obey increasing no okrofobi wo ho mo bomb pie dada mimi wo group a ye bomb pie inti mpai bonu prayer is the key ye be bomb pie bedu time na decrease I tell you inti mpai bo to be yade on to be ndoso obey decrease wo yesu di mu
Ghana de ye say nyama no ntu obehwe say na at most time this in yen timinji to Ghana for yen nema sa yen ni fitete yen na namre so say nema kra bai asa abrofo no nema omo ye na omo hwe no but o say omo hye mre bi ma echichire omo say wo ye sa yes so mo ye be punish oh
because we your president go for do I just you are funny in Kasai and no busa say are we going to legalize it in Ghana? No, so it's bound to happen because among those there's no voice demanded for its legalization. It's never be say president go Kasai
Bankasaye who pay a different from Nyamipe. Onyame bema on baso. Yes, because people are praying. Onyame bema on baso. Prayer is the key. Oh no, prayer is the key. Onyame better than Niema. And we are still praying.
Okay, when you know, I say kasa religious grounds and all that. But I think I will money say what? Say what?
Inti o kasa do 30,000 kwampo e me nwanwa. We was sending it to be maku bi na e di enimu se bi emo kasa me boys bi ye say na. Omo ya kwadwofo, omo mpa adwuma. Nti obi disika kakra bi dada omo a na omo di akire. Eno na ese omo hwe. E na awofo no nso no. What is our bias at the bomodi na friend ni twi na nim. Because
no be or sister or who send a bias or president and I'm so then that is too much.
Abachiwa also ubenya you are going to account for human soul. Inti dia ubene say ube sompa bomo de na wo ba no watwe na be hu na wo cheche na mu na wo explain niema che no mpa bo no with explanation ni mpa kasa no wo ba no be sesa ready anya wo be kuna se wo kuna won kasa wo be ko tu nyame wo soro
nti e fa se be what se wo ba e bia we
eh me ba kro onye me ba onye because ono akasa no on me fie o free yeah onye sada
but sometimes akwara no free fie papa mu fear almost so nyame fear discipline wo mu but okọ school a no crofile influence no e bi nso a na de sika adada no it is sometimes most of the time fie no sometimes oye ni parents kro mu nim but obi a influence no it na me see in everything in pipe na fe wo ba no wo ntande ne bonkobo obi wo fa ne ba bonkobo no be hu baby aniema ko ti wudu ne bonkomo a no wu chip in lesbianism ni homosexualism wu che no consequences ni niema obaya afe ne be ba ne hu so
professor bia me ne kasa ye o se bia pe se ye ma de we tuntwa anka de we a ye wo boys school and girls school anka ye say no na enye mix because same sex schools na ma like equity sanuma we nyina na me hu ni say me because me come ko boys school I didn't do it
that's come to na je na okopem oba ho ana because it's bamboni
either me school boys school girls school or so obeye but me see nkwada nkete yen start say yen chrom yen fa on kan ho asem lesbianism ni homosexual yen fa say enye wo ya sa sonta wo benya yare wo be wukura wo mu wo ya sa nso nyame nsa ne no so won it's a spirit it e fa on kasa na yem bompo bi am bompo ma ne ba bi an kwara nkitingi yem bompo ma mpanyimfo no yem bompo ma ho me see prize that came me say ahunde to be wo prayer mu na fe wo ni kasa wo cheche niam mu so be to be decrease
say professor na actually na dia koso say secondary school ho na almost 30 years na ma na yesro omuma se omuma asofo no nko school na yemfo nko school ho no na yemfo kasa na start indicate wo say so we yes ade no kra atana so benya yare wo be say school no a wo kono enkodu ba bia woni begu ase obi kura hu say we yes ade ko office bi adwuma kra wa kra wo nya happy
okay but do you believe say ya wo mo sa
ya wo mo sa
suban omusua ha namfofo na fe ne mo parents so hu so
because interview bi o say o sa na ya wo no o te sound me sisa
namfofo na me so hu say parents hu so ba ne obi efa dan for na hwe na ni ba wani mre oba ho pam no me dem attack am be ma wo so
ye manu say ye hu omu friends no
show me your friend
ye fa omu pompo nkomo ye entertain wo ba dan for pam no uba woman face kaka ube hu eta for person ni dan for no te afa no wa start say wo educate you we start from education ni kasa no wo bompa man wo bompa mam bo ma wo ba pe ni dan for no mo nyina unwa no mo dan for no mo nyina me say prayer is the key that's my answer na kasa na wo chere with the consequence
okay but me you say maybe say ye nyeti ye di boni da intent me ka say bibi ye boni keto na boye boni den boni keto
na kase nya ya boni onyame we iske ni dia
ye ja ye boni na ye ka we mu boni kese
we oye glare na we onyame chiwade ni we onyame chiwade so ba na oba ma ni oba sodium and gomora sa na omu ye no onyame shikro nu iti we de oyo onyame chiwade we yes I would do be corona wo mu no you are bringing curse on the nation inti onu de ye nya ye boni obi ani obeka so ye papa o fi anopa be sit time bia boni amaye wo metremu wo madwe mu wo makoma mu ne nyina ye boni but we de ye glaring hu say bibi koso na me boni ami ye no ebi wo makoma mu me ko read nyame asem na obe correct me kakra na we de wo hu okofri fi anu akoye na nyaminsu specifically also ompe boni bia also ompe but we in particular no dey also ompe if say garden of Eden no ba no berima I don't know about berima mienu and no ba mienu nti e ho na wo do behwe.
Okay, say we need now do stage be alpha boyfriend and therefore what me to coach your parents. I don't think go to be from Kofi. No more ye
mama on kwan e be metu dia ko.
Enye ewiase so ma me ne obema ne papa ne obema ne tena anke be wo be wiase. Bible say Nyankopon say yen wo ne ase nore say epo anu anwea. Anka say oba ne bema nkotara bema ne obema ntra na oba ne oba ntra. There be enyame achiwa de.
Ajo ye time class sometimes we engagement. Manta obema usika ti so oba no awarefo onyame twa omo wosoro. Omo sesa omo beji aketua bi wosoro.
Okay. The omo can say nyese bia omo person mo ware organ na bibi sa. They want ko for chi omo bo omo and discrimination no. Omo nya yanke tu ntwa. Me nya so
sometimes discrimination na ye na wo hu say de wo ye no nation no mpe na fe punishment ya ko onipa pi mpe so for your doors ye mpe
who will say some legalize that you are for mu shisha some you no be pio
ya bi no be speaker on baso people are praying against it nti nyame ma on baso da omu du be say sa no nyame be yi omu to one after the other.
Prayer is the key, and education on the effects and dangers of the menace will also go a long way to curb the menace. Let me know your thoughts on this whole matter. Log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's News on TV3, and on Twitter, it's a News TV3. Just be on the lookout. I might be in your community, so we sit and talk to issues like we've just done. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
This is what it feels like.
Welcome back and thank you very much. The Daily Graphic says Amidu named special prosecutor. Rawlings congratulates him. 2 cops gunned down, another seriously injured. Parliamentary probe on cash for seats begin. 14 to stand trial over Major Maxwell Mohammed's death. Ghanaian Times this morning reports that Martin Amidu named special prosecutor, and Muntaka Blakwa appear before seat for cash committee. The Daily Guide says 2 cops gunned down. EC infighting deepens. Muntaka Blackwad cash for seat probe, and Nana names Amidu special prosecutor. The finder says Amidu, the special one to prosecute anti-graft agenda. President, Minister sends 14 workers home for lateness. That's at the Railway Ministry. And 2 cops officers killed. 2 cops, 1 other hurt by robbers. CPC supplies cocoa powder to free SHS students. The Independent says special prosecutor, president swerves all. It's Amidu. And Daily Heritage says Akufo-Addo names NDC guru special prosecutor. Why Muntaka asks for probe. And the Daily Statement this morning says cops, thieves arrested. Yesterday, I found that quite worrying that somewhere in Takwa, 2 persons had gone to steal a dead body. Interesting. NADMO staff tasked to be on the ground. And Amidu is special prosecutor. Mahama angry with Rawlings. Victor Smith reveals. My guest this morning from the New Patriotic Party, Asante Eba. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Our brother in power. And Alhaji Nasir Mohammed. Alhaji, assalam.
Walaikum assalam. It's been a great morning.
It's been a great morning, absolutely. So yesterday, the president, as one of the papers says, swerved everybody. The names that had been on everybody's mind was lawyer Kutuampawa, lawyer Philip Addison. But then Martin Amidu came up there, and the president gave him some credit for his credibility and his forthrightness and everything else. Will this change anything at all in our quest to fight corruption?
I think good morning to your amazing viewers, and also good morning to the leadership of the New Patriotic Party and the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. And also good morning to the SP in town,
okay,
the Special Prosecutor in town, the man who defies all odds and fights corruption to the level where he has to even sacrifice his own job, Mr. Martin Amidu. Good morning to him, special good morning to him and his family. My brother, I was excited that Mr. Amidu was chosen for this particular job.
And my excitement comes from the fact that he's done it before. He's shown it. He's exemplified himself over the years. He's indicated to the world and the Ghanaian at large that at every given time, his focus and his purpose will be to make sure that the individuals who have raped the nation, who have robbed the nation, will be made to pay. The monies that have been taken unlawfully or illegally from the state coffers, such monies will be returned to the state's chest. And he's done that over the years, and we've seen it. And that gives me a lot of hope, a lot of excitement that indeed, in terms of our quest and our fights against corruption, there's a greater light at the end of the tunnel. It also gives me a lot of joy to see a special leader that we've gotten for ourselves. He said something, the President, Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I tell you, before his election as the President of the Republic, we've had a lot of things. People came out and gave all manner of analysis as to the fact that he's somebody who is not a team player, is going to be vindictive, is not going to be all-inclusive in terms of his work, in terms of building his team and all that. But at every single opportunity, this man has defied the thinking of the NDC in particular, and certain individuals who had or harbored such particular thinking. He's shown that indeed, in terms of our quest in rebuilding our nation, in terms of bringing every single hand on board, every hand that is ready to help, to come on board to help move this country forward. And he's shown it. The choice of Mr. Hamidu was perfect.
Do you see a parliamentary approval coming soon?
Obviously, this is going to be overwhelming approval. See, this is a simple majority. It's not two-thirds majority. So obviously, if our brothers from the NDC decides to even stay away and not even go to Parliament on that day.
Do you see them staying away?
Now, I've heard some of them not being excited. I've heard some of them, those that I think I respect, for instance, Honorable Yunus Hussein, I respect him highly, my senior. His comments are quite encouraging. There are others who have spoken, and their mindset and the way they handle it is not really encouraging. I like the comments of the former President Rawlings, about the fact that we need to support the special prosecutor. I like the comments of Justice Emile Short about his thoughts and what he made of Mr. Hamidu. I have a couple of some of the great sons and daughters of the land, and their views about this man is that indeed he's the right person, a perfect person for the job. But let me give you another thing for us to be excited about. I see, when you look at the role of the special prosecutor, he has other powers that people have not addressed their minds to. He has investigative powers beyond the prosecutorial powers that he has been bequeathed with. He has powers to investigate. So it tells you that at every given time, though there will be other state apparatus that will be involving themselves in other investigations and other things, the special prosecutor outfit has the right to equally go into matters. Even when the informations or the investigations are done by the other state apparatus and brought to the attention of the special prosecutor, it is that it needs more. He can still go further and do other investigations.
What do you say to the school of thought that, yes, the special prosecutor has come, but to make the investigative wing more active and fruitful, the right to information law must be passed, and the Flagstaff House must instigate that as well. What do you say to that?
I think anybody who calls for that right to information law to come into being, I would support that, because obviously it has been on the forefront over the years, and every now and then we literally play with it, and we don't bring it into fruition. But the point is that at the end of the day, we need to appreciate the fact that in a journey, there ought to be certain steps, and this is a huge leap in a fight against corruption. When that one comes on board, it's better. I remember procurement laws and all those things came in to at least sanitize the system in terms of wanting to curb the incidence of corruption in our public sector. So indeed, if it comes on board, the better for it. But at the end of the day, as things stands now, I think that our quest and our effort in wanting to fight corruption, Mr. Hamidu typifies that and his embodiment in terms of wanting to fight this. And I like that because, you see, in terms of the NDC, the NDC find him, some of them find him uncomfortable in terms of the fact that they've known him, that over the years, somebody who could sacrifice his job in the quest to fighting corruption. such a person who cannot be remote controlled. The certain individuals within the MPP are not too happy because they equally know that when it comes to Martin Amidu, there's nothing like negotiation.
Can we transpose that feeling into the MPP as well?
Obviously, yes. It's not everybody within the MPP who will be excited. At the end of the day, any corrupt mind in any part of this country will not be excited with the appointment. And like they said, when the old bribe bones are mentioned in Proverbs, the old lady always feels uneasy. So those who are corrupt, the moment the name of Mr. Amidu comes up, or Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo comes up, such individuals start panicking. Because the point is that they know these are individuals who will fight and make sure that whatever is due the state that has been stolen, that has been taken unlawfully, will return to the state's office.
Alaji, let me come to you at this point. Now, yesterday the announcement was, had its own set of reactions. Some say this man may get into some way chanting if he's not properly guided. But President Rawlings has congratulated him. What's the feeling that you have?
Well, let me first of all say a very big good morning to your cherished viewers. I think the appointment of Martin Amidu, the timing, first of all, is in communication psychology. We would say that the NPP has found themselves, or they are back against the wall with the issue pending in Parliament with regards to the cash for seat. And for that matter, they would like to do something so tremendous.
General Seydou Ketia dared the president to take this decision.
Which decision? Is a law. I mean, the Parliament
but he dared him, which gave rise to the president assenting to 5 bills, which includes the special prosecutor bill, and then subsequently appointing.
So if we are to go by your own
it's not me.
assertion, if you are to go by your own assertion that
these are facts.
has dared,
let's not put it my assertion.
Okay.
These are facts.
The general assertion.
Everybody knows it.
If we are to go by the general assertion
of things that
Seydou Ketia has to dare the president to move on the promises he has made to Ghanaians to fight corruption and instituting an office of the special prosecutor and then to assign or appoint someone to head that office. Well, it cannot be a mere coincidence in this matter. Why? Because we can attest to the fact that what is happening in Parliament today with the great effort of our minority in Parliament, especially Ablako Kujato, the boldness and Mutaka, the member for Azwasi, the boldness and the finesse with which yesterday they handled the issue is there for everybody to see. So the MPP must do something because it is damning. What is happening in Parliament is damning.
So you think this is a cover-up?
Well, it's clearly an issue because I was listening to another radio station this morning which was saying that the over 12 hours effort yesterday in Parliament has been dashed or silenced by about 15 minutes or 5 minutes presentation of the president or by appointing Martin Amidu. You see, the case still remains that Martin Amidu from yesterday when the appointment was made, I have not heard anybody talk about his capabilities and the fact that he's not fit for the job. I've heard a lot of people, who know Martin Amidu very well and what he have said about Martin Amidu with regards to the finesse with which he would handle this job and the fact that he's a legal luminary in our country today. He's been a former Attorney General. He's been a Deputy Attorney General. So he has the wherewithal to be able to man the office. But the key points we need to start asking ourselves and not just join the pomp and pageantry and what do you call it, the euphoria that is shredded with his appointment is the fact that how much has been made available or allocated to his office. We all know the Office of Attorney General has not been able to handle issues and some cases as a result of lack of staff, as a result of, the lack of the requisite funds, technical people to be able to push the agenda in that sector. And for that matter, if we are to put Martin Amidu, make all the noise about Martin Amidu, leave him there without the necessary requirements that will enable him achieve the objective, then it becomes what in the local parlance we say another Konobokaya business.
As you said earlier that the announcement was you know, questionable because it more like a cover-up for what's happening in Parliament. When would have been the most appropriate time for this announcement to have been made?
It's long overdue. I mean, just like Asedun Ketia has said, I mean, with this whole bill was passed into law and became an act long ago. I mean, for some months now. What have we been waiting? What have we been waiting for? Correct. I mean, whatever the situation is, Office of the Special Prosecutor has been one of the key election promise by the MPP. We all heard what they have said about the free SHS, which is equally important. The Office of the Special Prosecutor is equally important. What has delayed them up till today? What is making them rethink? I mean, about this entire process.
Parliament had to deal with the issues. Parliament concluded, the President has assented to it. It had to go through a process, didn't it?
Well, the process is there. We accept the process. What I am saying now as we speak is the fact that that bill was passed into law.
Okay.
Not yesterday.
Okay.
You understand? It was in December. Right. There's been some time lag. What is taking the president from this crucial and very important step and an office that everybody knows will help fight the canker of corruption. Corruption is something that.
Do you see which thing ahead?
Well, I would, in my opinion, adopt the wait and see attitude. I will not put the cart before the horse. Martin Amidu is yet to assume office. If he's approved by Parliament, I want to see how. I think he's supposed to be vetted by the law. Right. Yeah, by Parliament. The euphoria just reminds me of the appointment of Dr. Spilgabra as the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, then where it was news all over the next morning, and the vetting still stand a record. Dr. Spilgabra's vetting is a record, the longest vetted minister. I want to see how Martin Hamidu's vetting would also go. I want to see how it will end.
Is it vetting?
Parliament
will approve.
So he will not be vetted or something. Exactly. So at the end of the day, I want to see him assume office. I want to see the kind of resources that will be made available to him to help him achieve the objective.
Do you think that this would change the game in terms of our fight against corruption? The appointment of a special prosecutor?
Yeah, that's what that's why I said earlier that for me I would adopt the wait and see approach, because there are a lot of things that Martin Amidu alone as an individual cannot do it all. He will need the support of all if we really want to achieve our objective of fighting corruption. The office needs to be equipped with the requisite personnel, with all the resources.
The personnel are there. We have one from Shraj, we have from the police. It's not just a one-man thing. Yes, there's a governing board that's properly composed. If you read their law,
what do you call it? The personnel are there at the Attorney General office. But what have we heard them say severally? That is as a result of lack of personnel, as a result of lack of requisite funds to enable them achieve the objective. That is why we see a lot of lapses in the attempt to present cases to court and then go ahead to win. So I don't expect that Martin Amidu should be given that same bite of inconvenience. I hope and pray he would speak up anytime he feels is being controlled or is being undermined in one or the other, so that we all will support and ensure that we fight the canker of corruption.
Grateful for your time.
You made some comment that I needed to come in quickly. The issue was that the Parliament is investigating or conducting some public hearing.
That's our next conversation.
No, but it's because he linked it to this. I want to.
I want to bring up that subject matter so that you.
But see, the point he made.
So you will have your take on that matter.
No, not necessarily. I'm not going to dwell on that. But see, the fact that
I'm saying that we are moving on to that subject.
I get you, but
so let me give you your time so that you can tie it in.
No problem.
The committee of 5 is meeting now. Okujato Black, Honorable Okujato Black, and Honorable Mutaka have appeared before the committee. There are concerns that it has NDC, NPP undertones instead of having a nationalistic approach. What are your views?
I think in terms of Parliament, if Parliament is conducting investigation and they want to form a committee, obviously they'll pick the members of Parliament to form the committee.
A bipartisan
committee. and it's obvious that they will have a bipartisan, mostly 3 from the majority and 2 from the minority. So there wouldn't be any other way of getting any human being to be part of the committee unless the person is a member of parliament. And you know, in a kind of democratic practice, that is what has been the scenario over the period. We are all aligned, either NDC or MPP. But the next issue is that, for me, I find it very ridiculous. My brothers are saying
so that if we are NDC and MPP, we should show the bias.
You see, if you're MPP and NDC, you are there to work for the country. You should not really allow the political lenses to cloud your judgment. And I'm sure that is why this thing is being aired on television for everybody to watch it. And it's why we can place value judgment against whose wish.
Please.
We can place value judgment on the conduct of members and those who appear on that particular committee. Because the point is extremely important. For instance, he's made he came out with this ridiculous analysis that because that committee is working, everything in this country should come to a halt. I shouldn't eat. You shouldn't come to work. The president shouldn't do anything.
He didn't say that.
But he said that the president appointed Mr. Amidu whilst the committee was working. So what he was telling was that the president shouldn't work. Nobody should do anything.
He said it's a cover-up.
Cover-up for what? Your thing is being aired on television. It's happening. We are following. The media is there. And at every given situation, there will be media covering events. And this issue comes up and you are panicking. But let me dwell on this particular issue. What are the facts on this issue? These are issues that are not even worth wasting our time on.
We should be very careful because it's before a parliamentary court.
I know, but I think
that's more like a high court. So
it is, but I'm entitled to my opinions. I know that. Understand that the laws on this particular matter.
Can we not get into the detail of the conversation?
No. This is not issue that can call for anybody being held before Parliament on that. When I express my opinion on that, these are bare facts. The facts are that NDC institution organization.
The facts from where?
That's we know. We know that this body that got involved with the Ministry of Trade to organize this award scheme.
I want to allow him bring out the facts. It's from government.
No. So MPP. That's what I'm asking.
So they have some facts that will help us unravel.
That's what I'm asking. I'm allowing him to say, but I want to know the source of his facts.
No, these are known to everybody. We've known that Mr. Ashimotin is an NDC person. We know that Ambassador Victor Boho is an NDC person. He is the chairman of the governing board. Ashimotin is the president of the organization. They've come together to organize an award. Then they get to the trade ministry asking for certain support and assistance. The trade ministry helps them. Then the NDC comes to complain or blame the trade ministry of having pressured or coerced certain individuals within the business community to vomit certain amount to support them because they were given certain areas to sit and order. These are the bare facts. So my point is that he placing value judgment on this because somebody has made an allegation. We've seen in this country, remember when this parliament came into being, we had NDC people. We heard of Mutaka, we heard of Kuyata Blakwa and Mahama Yarega making categorical allegations that certain individuals took bribe to approve the nomination of Mr. Bocheja. One call upon to substantiate with evidence. One call upon to substantiate with evidence at a similar committee. These people could not bring in a single
let's take the facts right. Those who brought the allegation out were Honorable Mahama Yarega and Alasan Suhidi and Okujeto.
And I'm saying that when they were called upon,
Honorable Muntaka
denied that. And this is the same minority you are talking about. They were part of the minority. But when they were called upon to substantiate with substantial substances, they backed down because they had not a single proof. They could not supply one single evidence to the fact that indeed certain monies were paid to members of parliament to approve that. Today, they are calling on us to go on this fishing expedition and telling Ghanaians that people paid money and they've given certain amount. Let them supply a single individual from the investor community that made any $100,000 or any payment, and that such a person was coerced to do so.
Is it your opinion that the committee is just another, business as usual?
You see, as the president and the MPP, our attitude, when you come out with investigation, we allow the law and the processes to take its course. So at least the truth will be unraveled for Ghanaians to know who is telling the lie. That is why it became necessary for Parliament and the Speaker of Parliament to allow this committee to come into being. Well, the purpose is that let Ghanaians understand the facts. Let people follow the issues. Let them appreciate who is lying.
But it's going to cost us money.
Of course, see, the point is that is part of democracy. At every given state, we need to let the people understand what their money is being used for.
Okay.
We need to let them appreciate it. In this instance, nobody is saying that somebody has gone to take money belonging to the government or the taxpayers' money and expended it unwisely. What they're saying is that monies were raised within the investor community and there are difficulties with that. And those issues that they are bringing up, we have heard from people who were part of the organization who paid not a dime but sat on the table with the president. People who were part of the organization who equally contributed their widow's mite to support the event, who said that they did not even pay anything close to even $10,000 to support the event.
But they paid something.
Of course, they supported it, and it's done. I remember I was reading an event where the president went to China and an event was organized. Certain individuals within the investor community paid to organize that event, and it's done sponsorship. It is sorted for at any given situation when you're organizing such events that you need some financial assistance.
Right.
So at the end of the day, what I want my brother to understand is that he talked about the fact that there wouldn't be any witch hunting, no witch hunting in this special prosecutor. I mean, for me, my understanding of life is that witches are they are up to no good. Witches pay their operations. They don't go out there creating good atmosphere or promoting development and the growth of anybody or any society. So if they are witches, they ought to be hunted. Indeed, if it is established that they are witches, witches are those who go out there, steal public funds, people who pay money, huge sums of money to individuals who do not deserve it, people who take contracts that are not supposed to be given to a particular individual, and the monies are expended and you cannot account for the facility for which monies were paid for. All these individuals, their conduct is witchcraft.
So they must be hunted.
As if they exist. And they must be haunted.
Okay.
And now I believe that the special prosecutor will focus his lenses on such witches who are busily stealing the public funds and stealing from the people. So, and these are the people we need to handle.
So, Mr. Martin Amidu, in your definition, is a witch catcher?
Of course, if indeed these people who are stealing, or those who are alleged to have stolen from the public, those who are monies that are meant for schools, hospitals, roads, water, and other infrastructures that we are supposed to benefit from, one person puts such money in his pocket, such a person is a witch and ought to be hunted. And I will endorse the special prosecutor, Mr. Amidu, and the team to go and pursue such individuals and let them cover the monies.
Asante Yeboah says Mr. Martin Amidu is a witch catcher. Alaji, your thoughts? Parliament's Committee of 5 is sitting. 2 witnesses have appeared before them already. What are your impressions so far?
Well, great. I like how my friend Craftley would move from the issue of stake. That is the MPP government.
He dealt with the issues.
That is the MPP government under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo found nothing wrong with money for seat, with paying to access the president, with the fact that, you see, the fundamental question we need to ask ourselves, fair and good, these companies actually sponsored the event and they did not pay. I don't know how we can differentiate the fact that they paid and they sponsor. But let us assume even it was a sponsorship package. And so that the minister, given the opportunity and all the powers to sign for contracts for individual companies that will bid for anything that will concern the Ministry of Trade and Industry. And these people who have sponsored would compete with others who would also like to have the same opportunity. Don't you think that in the attempt to select the best, I mean, something will go on as a result of the fact that they have relation with the ministry because of previous sponsorship they have and the support they have given to the ministry. I mean, these are the fundamental issues that we are asking. These are the reasons why our colleagues in the minority have taken serious stand to the issue and said, look, let us investigate to details, because it is becoming one too many, the fact that the presidency itself has reduced itself into a clearing agent, and have reduced the presidency to a clearing agency.
How is that?
Reason being that we have seen several of such allegations. Well, you can call it whatever it is.
But how is that? How is the presidency? How is the presidency a clearing agency?
Well, it's a clearing agent because as we speak today, the matter in question that has been given approval by Parliament to be investigated was sent to the President, and the President cleared it and said he found nothing wrong with it.
So that's your definition of clearing.
And the matter should be ruled out. We saw the issue of the accusation by A+ and against the deputy chief of staff, and then we saw how the presidency also cleared that issue. We saw the issue of why are you uncomfortable? Why are you uncomfortable with this critical issue? I thought you want to help us fight corruption. These are clear issues of corruption that we expect the president to take a bold step, and the president consistently has shown to Ghanaians that he is not ready, especially when it involves people belonging to the MPP, and that is our worry. That allegations you made are unfounded, and the fact that
they are not NDC people, or they were not part of the organization.
NDC membership starts from branches. He has made an allegation that these people belong to NDC. So give me their branches. Give me my branch is the Presby Church Okankwe Central Constituency. That is how I become a member of the NDC. So where is their branch? Give me their branches.
Yeah, where their branches are.
You know the funny thing.
Have you any evidence to that?
That the man is an NDC.
That
he himself on an interview.
Clearly, we are not ready to say that.
We've known him. He is worked under President Rawlings, worked under President Mills, and under President Mahama.
That doesn't make him.
No, he's an NDC. He's indicated it.
Okay.
You see,
contested for
clearly,
positions and all
clearly
that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I am saying here on authority.
So for you, it is unable to mention their branches.
Of course, then
their wards.
Branch. You understand? You start from branch, then cluster of branches will make the ward. Cluster of wards will make the constituency. You understand? I have stated my branch here. I have stated my constituency. And that you don't know should make you become circumspect when you want to make such blatant allegations.
Please,
that is why I want to continue in the direction that you see, it is very important that we take the matter as it is, and applaud Parliament for allowing the investigation.
Do you think the committee will bring any change? Will be able to unravel what it is that
you see? The fact that the entire proceeding is being telecast live on television will tell me and many other Ghanaians that whatever the presidency, because the final decision will lie on the presidency. If he decides to push, or as usual, just sweep it under the carpet after the investigation and details have been given to him, we don't care. But the ordinary Ghanaian would see, even by the mannerism and demeanor that people would put up during such investigation, we can decipher who is lying and who is telling us the truth.
There's a precedent. The matter of Mahama Yariga, Honorable Mahama Yariga, and in that Boache Jacob bribery allegation, the public thought otherwise, that the decision the committee took was not the best. It was also telecast. So there's precedence. Would it change anything if the public thinks that, yes, these people are indeed guilty of whatever allegations have been put at them, and then the committee says, well, you're cleared? Would it change anything?
You see, what it will change for me, my opinion is that, you see, Ghanaians are given the opportunity to listen to both sides. Ghanaians would make, informed decision when it comes to their attempt to see which among the two parties, NDC, MPP, is ready to fight corruption. We have proven beyond every reasonable doubt that, look, when it comes to fighting corruption, the NDC stands tall. It stands tall because we have put in place several mechanisms that would ensure that it will get the support of all. Things would have been different. But what did we see? We saw it when we needed the support most. People, reduce themselves to their partisan positions and make statements, sweeping statements that will not inure to the benefit of the country. Today, the issue has changed. Today, whatever would come out, in my opinion, would ensure that, look, this is the second time, and under this administration, the MPP administration, where people have been accused and we don't see the president taking bold decision. Now that we have the office of the special prosecutor, whatever the evidence would unfold, I think it will be among one of the few first things he would be tackling, because these evidence are fresh. And then we expect things to be different. My prayer is that the office of the special prosecutor would pick this matter up and continue with the investigation so that we get things done right. And that, in my opinion, will make the difference.
Grateful. And you can join us on WhatsApp 0508235228. Let's read your thoughts and comments. We are big on those ones. So the president, in his inaugural speech, I think was when he spoke with workers on May Day last year, says that, well, people tend not to work late. They spend the first hour praying, and then they waste all the time, and then they keep looking at their clock, and then they want to go. People go for funerals, and they don't turn up. We're told that the Minister for Railway Development, Lawyer Joe Garte, sent away 14 workers for turning up late. These included 9 permanent staff and 5 national service personnel. No action was taken against them, but he just sent them away. He says it was a wake-up call. Is this good? Is this bad? They were not sacked, they were not suspended. He just sent them away on the day they came late. He acknowledged that, yes, they had done some hard work in the previous year, but he wants them to do better. Is this a clear indication?
I think the signal that he sends out there is that, that particular sector or Ghanaians, we ought not to tolerate some of these things. It is getting, it is taking a lot of the precious time that we ought to use in building our state. And we are wasting that in terms of the time that we use on funerals and other things, particularly the time we get to the office. I know certain offices that people get to they get there like 10 o'clock, 9 a.m. and all that. And by 3:34, they want to leave the place. People go to funerals on Friday, so they expect that their weekends on Thursday, they wouldn't come to work on Friday. And when they go to Friday, they extend the weekend to Monday. And some of them, you see them coming to work on Tuesday. It happens in certain companies. Indeed, whilst I'm putting this across, we need to indicate that there are hard-working men and women within the country who get to work sometimes 6 a.m. and leave there as late as 9, 10. Those individuals ought to be applauded and commended. But indeed, those who are at every given time trying to use certain means and tactics to either go to work late, the time that is meant for them to spend in the office to work, use it for their own personal businesses and other things. I think we need to put an end to it. And I applaud the Minister of Railways for the action taken. And I think that if all of us will look at it, because I remember during President Kufuor's era, certain things were started like that. President Ronnie's era, I think I remember people being asked to clock in as well.
Right.
So you realize that over the years, there have been that desire to find ways of checkmating workers when they get to work, when they leave, and what they do during the. What the point is that within the private sector, these things wouldn't be countenanced.
Right.
There's no private organization that you go to work and you just walk out there and go and do anything, and not be accountable to the management of the team. Obviously, there are targets that are set for you, but same cannot be said about most of the public institutions. So I think going forward, you need to put in measures to curtail some of these things, make sure that at least people will not pretend as if they are working, but they will work. Because obviously government is looking at ways of increasing the wages and all that. And whilst government is trying to find ways of making sure the workers, their lives are better, cutting down hardship in terms of electricity tariffs and other things, that is making their lives uncomfortable. We all ought to be ready to build our country. Well, at the end of the day, the focus should be what it is that I'm contributing in building Ghana. It ought not to be about one leader or one president or one boss or one manager. Necessarily ought to be about my contribution to the benefit of the country, Ghana. So I think that is what we need to
Alaji, one of the affected staff said she resides at Dodowa. It's far from Accra, so she had a terrible traffic situation, which is why she was late. good excuse, and this is what the minister has done, sent the people home. One would want to ask questions whether sending them home is anything that will change the situation at all.
This is quite interesting. Before I comment on this matter, I would have preferred if I know the role they play in the ministry or in
these
the
are,
they
9 permanent staff and 5 national service people.
Yeah, with which
but their portfolios
clerks,
were not stated.
Yeah, so because it will help me unravel and conclude on the matter. Reason being that we all agree that, you see, information technology is making it possible today for people to work even at home. And we must encourage such.
But our system says you must be bodily present.
Yeah, you must be bodily present. But this is what technology has given us. No, let's embrace it and take advantage of it so that we can compete internationally. And these are some of the things that I think we should start considering to do in order to be able to stay in competition, and also to start asking ourselves. I mean, it's a fine decision. The ministers must show that, look, they will put their feet on the ground to ensure the right thing is done. The excuse of distance is also something that we can consider. Yes, indeed, today people are working in Accra who lives as far as Dodowa and beyond. And what mechanism are we going to put in place in the form of transport, in the form of what do you call it, ease of getting into town and back? All these are factors that we must put together if we want to really achieve the objective of ensuring that everybody gets to work on time and then leave at the appropriate time. But then we must also ask ourselves, since the minister is beginning to take this action, we also must begin to ask that in his ministry, where under the previous administration, we have only 2 ministers under the Ministry of Transport who have been able to do what today 7 ministers under 3 ministries have not been able to do. Should we also start thinking of sacking them? I mean, this is giving us the opportunities to start. You must not understand. The Ghanaians are listening to us. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the host. The host has not said he doesn't understand. The Ghanaians who are
those are your opinions.
But I have not said it's your opinion. He said he doesn't understand, and I said he doesn't.
Yeah, the viewers, I'm sure,
would also understand. Under the NDC administration, we have the Ministry of Transport. And then that Ministry of Transport has 2 ministers. Under the MPP administration, the same Ministry of Transport has Ministry of Railways, Ministry of Aviation, Ministry of Transport, and a whole lot of things with 7 ministers. All these people have not been able to do an inch of what 2 people under the Ministry of Transport and in the erstwhile NDC administration have been able to do. So clearly, if he's telling us, he means we should also begin to think of sacking him himself, because he's wasting our time, resources.
What the minister did is a good call. That, look, people must not pretend to work. People must actually work and must not make excuses. For me, I think it raises the bigger question of the traffic situation around us and whether or not we take that into consideration and wake up early to turn up for our duties.
Everybody who is given an appointment knows when to start work and when to close. Everybody who's given an appointment knows that. But the fact still remains that, yes, this is the situation, but the laxity with which that is being controlled in our various offices also gives opportunity for others to do whatever they like. We all know the attitude of workers who work within the civil service and public services. Sometimes the supervision is not so tight, it allows for people to do whatever they want. And it is the same thing that I would go back to the point I've made earlier on. When we have, a ministry that has been able to function very well with 2 ministers, and the president decides that, look, I will divide this ministry into 3 and give it 7 ministers, and the output is still as low as you can expect. What is the output? Tell me, as we sit here, what is the output? We have seen a Ministry of Transport under the NDC with 2 ministers, and we've seen the improvement when we talk about rail sector, when we talk about aviation, when we talk about transport. And we have seen what they have been able to do. What have they been able to do with 7 ministers in 3 ministries? That can be, clustered together into 1 ministry. And we have seen that before.
Let's put some of your messages out there, and we'll check out your messages. Lots, so many of them on WhatsApp here, and you can also add yours. So we make progress in that direction. I see you have generated a lot of conversation. Okay, Johnny, Martin Amidu is a capable man for such office, but the president moves to appoint him is wrong. Are there not capable men too in the MPP? This will surely create great disaffection for the president in the MPP. I advise the majority in parliament not to approve his appointment. Where are the men in the MPP, APS? Theo, TV3 New Day. Good morning. Hey, Ghanaians, do we want to remain jokers in this country? Martin Amidu, a special prosecutor for what? This man is not to be trusted. Double standard. If this man is really out to fight corruption, then I'm highly disappointed in him because I expected him to make noise in 2017 as he was making noise in 2016. But here's the case. He never coughed up upon all the corruption that happened in Anado's administration. Osman Burukisong in Tamale. Can you please help me tell the government that some group of people are destroying our natural environment by polluting the air, the water bodies, creating noise day in, day out, and deepening the shore of the river, claiming they are mining soil, Amenyo, inside Agbava in the South Tong district. Good morning, TV3. We know this is a diversionary tactic employed by MPP to cover up the embarrassing incident at the Flagstaff House. I felt scandalized and petrified when Martin Amidu, who is against corruption, all of a sudden remained silent until his appointment. There's a clear indication that he was being used as a tool by the MPP to propagate their political ambition. The Constitution gives only the Attorney General that right to prosecute. So where lies the special prosecution thing? Bill Narton from Accra, Newtown. Idrisu A.B. Fusaini in Tamale says Martin Amidu has been appointed as special prosecutor by the corrupt president. Is neither here nor there, but I'm expecting Martin Amidu to start his prosecuting on the fresh evidence that is currently under investigation by 5-member committee in Parliament, popularly known as Seat for Cash. Please, can the MPP man come again? He is more of a partisan politician. Johnny, can you please ask him to explain why the president waited till yesterday before doing this so-called appointment of Martin Amidu? If not, silent the matter on the ground. Let's be sincere. Yes, Martin Amidu is the right man, but why wait till yesterday? Kennedy in Kumasi wants to know. Bonti Benjamin Echeme Bwakwa says the president has demonstrated to the world that he is committed to fighting corruption without fear or favor, and we are fortunate to have Mr. Martin Amidu as the first special prosecutor to do so, to do the do. Let's stop corruption before it stops Ghana. Please, who squandered state resources at their disposal? People who squandered state resources at their disposal should be made to face the full rigors of the law. I hope Parliament will speed up the approval of Martin Amidu so that he can start with the cash for seat scandal. So Imran in Tamale. President Nana implemented the free SHS, but students of Sokode in the Volta region are paying fees of 130 Ghana cedis as PTA and Pantech 300 Ghana cedis. Tell the MPP man to talk to his boss, Israel from Ho, noted Asantieba. I listened to Honorable Muntaka and Honorable Blackwell. They kept on saying, by ending with this word, this is what made us to conclude. Please, in law, there's nothing like drawing conclusions. We need facts, not perceptions. Believe they are wasting our time. Rafik Tamale, Save Ghana Coalition. My name is Joe Brown from Dakuman. NDC should be very awake. Amidu's appointment is calculated to render NDC unpopular and subsequently collapse the NDC. My piece of advice to probable NDC activists who could be prosecuted is that they should prepare well before appearing before Amidu so as to be proven clean. Else, NDC could remain in opposition for years, possibly 7 more years. Good morning, TV3. I wish to commend the President, Nana Addo, for displaying political maturity by nominating Honorable Martin Amidu for the position of Special Prosecutor, and I believe Mr. Martin Amidu will deliver his best in all matters relating to corruption. David from Tamale. Good morning, Johnny and the New Day team. The MPP guys should stop the unnecessary heckling of Razak in Tamale. Good morning, TV3. I'm left with dismay on the special social commentators are taking the issue of Mr. Martin Amidu appointed as special prosecutor. The office of the special prosecutor is set up for public corrupt official and not for NDC officials. The law has no respect for anybody who is fine, capable, but for it being NDC, MPP, or any other public officials, I don't think Mr. President, with the sense he has, will set this office for only some people and not others. So let us all support the good work the president is doing. Pidima Iwa, a lot more of your messages, but time will not allow us to read all. We'll read some more later as we make progress. But I want to thank you very much, gentlemen. Alhaji Nasiru Mohammed, grateful for your time. And Asante Eba, grateful. You are not happy. You don't look happy, gentlemen. You wanted 1 minute to do
certainly. We'll just have 1 minute to round up.
Alhaji, I'll start with you.
Yeah. So my points still remain that, look, this government, if it's determined to do something about corruption, must step up its game. I mean, it is not just by appointing a special prosecutor and just leaving it to operate in a vacuum that would help us achieve our objective. Corruption is a canker. We believe, our party, the NDC, believe that, look, the first step to ensuring that this country move from its current state to a better status is to be able to fight corruption. For that matter, we put in place several mechanisms. We can cite the improvement in the legal system, the court system, the improvement in parliament, and many other things that would ensure that people who are in the helm of affairs will be able to work very well and achieve the objective of fighting corruption.
Asante Eba, final thoughts.
I would like to applaud the President of the Republic for such an amazing gift to the country and in the quest to fight corruption, the man that he has appointed. I'm grateful that Mr. Amidu also accepted it, and for me, I have a lot of confidence and trust in Mr. Amidu, because at a point where he was just an ordinary citizen, he had no resources at his disposal, he single-handedly fought for the retrieval of Boyeme's money. If it had been left with the NDC government, Boyeme's money would have gone and it would have remained in their pockets. As it is now, he has a bigger opportunity to fight and retrieve that money. So that is what he's going to do.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing. So I should go and bring them from.
Thank you. So Asante Eba is a member of the NPP's communication team, and Alhaji Nasiru Mohammed is a member of the NDC's communication team. I thank you very much, gentlemen. Asante Eba, NPP, and Alhaji Nasiru, NDC. Grateful. I hope you enjoy your weekend. It's all right. Thank you very much. Well, sports is up next. After this.
Good morning. It's time to do sports here on New Day. My name is Yao Ofosulabi. Now, on to our very first story. After taking over as new Black Queens head coach, former Kumasi Asante Kotoko trainer Didi Dramani has resigned from his post to further his coaching career outside the country. Naneka Mankwa put together this report on Dramani's short-term reign as Queens coach as Mercy Tego takes over the job on an interim capacity.
Didi took over the Black Queens job from coach Yusuf Basigi last year. In that period, he supervised only one competitive match, an international friendly against France. The result of that was a humiliating 8-0 scoreline in Paris that night. Dramani tendered in his resignation last week and has officially joined the Danish side Nordsjælland FC as an assistant coach, replacing former Ghana international Otto Addo, who heads back to Germany. According to information picked up from the technical director of the Ghana Football Association, Otia Kenten, Dramani will be first-team assistant coach for the next 2 years. His position now falls on former referee and assistant coach of the Black Queens, Mercy Tego, as interim coach of the Queens. Mercy Tego's appointment means this will be the first time a female will lead the Black Queens. The technical committee of the Football Association will sit to have further deliberations on who will take up the job permanently. If a decision is not made anytime soon, as expected, the former referee will be in charge of the Black Queens campaign in the Women's Wafu Cup of Nations. The Black Queens are in the same group with Ivory Coast, Niger and Burkina Faso for the tournament, which kicks off from the 10th to the 24th of February 2018.
Right, so on now to the Galka GA tournaments there. And on Wednesday, the games that took center stage, Kumasi Asante Kotoko against Dreams FC. And then Accra Hatsufolk took on Mediama SC in there. Those were the results from those games. Dreams FC and Mediama carrying the day on Wednesday there. But then on Thursday, the games continued. And Adriana Stars beating 11 Wonders by 3-1. Brighter J, Nuamate and Uba Ulich getting the goals there for Adriana Stars to give them 6 points, in the Galka GA tournament at the moment. Ebusua Dwarfs, though, have conceded 10 goals in 2 games. Bashir Hayford's side, struggling already in the Galka GA tournament. Karela FC, the newly promoted side, beat them by 4-0 after they lost their first game by 6-5 against Mediama SC in the Galka GA tournament. But there's some key facts you need to note at the moment in the Galka GA tournament. Solomon Safo Taylor is the first player to score a hat-trick in the competition at the moment, and also he joins Kwame Boateng and Ajenim Boateng, both of Mediama SC, with 3 goals each in the competition. And then 23 goals have been scored so far, with Ebusua Dwarfs conceding 10 of those 23 goals in there. So those are some of the stats you need to know. Solomon Safo Taylor, the first player to score a hat-trick, and that's quite a huge laurel for him. But away from that, Portuguese side, FC Porto, are leading the race to sign Ghana striker Majid Waris from French club Lorient. Now, Waris was a top scorer for Lorient in the league last season, hitting the back of the net 9 times and adding 5 assists. His exploits have therefore caught the eye of FC Porto, who are in need of a striker to show up their attacking options as they seek to push further in the Portuguese league and also the UEFA Champions League. Right, so yesterday the UEFA Team of the Year for 2017 was also announced, and we'll be going through the team pretty shortly. But let's go through, the slide that shows, the permutation that went into selecting the players there, and also a total number of 8,779,639 votes tops the previous record of 8.6 million cast in 2014. So those were the number of votes cast for the UEFA Team of the Year, and also there are 2 newcomers in the lineup, Kevin De Bruyne and then Eden Hazard, who have the honor of being the first Belgians to be represented in the Fans Team of the Year. So the UEFA Fans Team of the Year has Kevin De Bruyne and also Eden Hazard there. Those are the only 2 players also from the English Premier League. But let's see the team now, shall we? Because, it looks quite good. The goalkeeping role, Gianluigi Buffon is in there. Dani Alves at right back, Sergio Ramos, Giorgio Chiellini, and Marcelo also at left back. Kevin De Bruyne, as I mentioned, is in midfield with Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. And then in attack, the usual suspects, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. And also Eden Hazard, the newcomer, has joined them in there. But it's quite shocking that there's no Neymar in there, because a lot of people expected him to have made that list. Also, Kylian Mbappe could not make the list here. But Kevin De Bruyne and Hazard, the only 2 players from the English Premier League to be included, and also the only 2 Belgians in there, and the first Belgians to be included in the UEFA Team of the Year. But Sergio Ramos, Chiellini, Marcelo, and Dani Alves, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Ronaldo, all usual suspects who have made the list for the past 7 years. But on to more news. And DR Congo's Cedric Bakambu is now Africa's most expensive player. He attained the status after completing a move from Spanish side Villarreal to Chinese side Beijing Guang. So that's also Bakambu's statistics there on the screen now. And games for Villarreal, played 105 times for the club, and also scored a total of 48 goals. He moved from Villarreal to Beijing Guang for a transfer fee of £65 million. So that makes him the most expensive African player, and he's also going to earn a salary of £307,000 a week. That's that equals the record of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi for what they are taking at Real Madrid and Barcelona respectively. But let's go on now to the most expensive African transfers, and Cedric Bakambu, after completing that £65 million move, is now on top. Then there's Naby Keita, the man Liverpool have signed from Rasenballsport Leipzig, also made the list on £48 million. Mohamed Salah, the reigning African Player of the Year, also in there on £39 million. So 3 of those transfers there were made by Liverpool there. So Liverpool have, Liverpool have a hand in 3 of the most expensive African transfers. Sadio Mane also in there on £34 million. And then Eric Bailly, the man from Manchester United there, also on £30 million. There's Islam Slimani, Yaya Toure, and also Michael Essien, who signed for Chelsea for £24 million in 2004, are all on the list if we are to make a top 10 list there. But to some transfer news, and the January transfer window has a lot coming with it. Big deals have been announced already, and some already in the pipeline. We compile some of the biggest rumors circulating in Europe today.
Another day in the transfer window, and apart from Barcelona's signing of Philippe Coutinho and Liverpool's capture of Virgil van Dijk, there have been very few confirmed top deals. Reports on Thursday claim Chelsea forward Eden Hazard has been approached by Real Madrid, and some say personal terms have been agreed between club and player. Elsewhere in England, following reports on Wednesday that Manchester United are closing in on PSG's Lucas Moura, the Old Trafford outfit have now been said to have matched the £25 million offer Manchester City are tabling for Alexis Sanchez. Meanwhile, Jose Mourinho is willing to let Henrik Mkhitaryan return to Borussia Dortmund this month if a deal can be agreed that suits all parties. With talks of Emre Can possibly moving to Juventus, the Reds are ready to make a move on Real Madrid midfielder Dani Ceballos, who has informed Zidane he is ready to move to England. Barcelona have completed their second signing of the window after they announced Yerry Mina as their new signing. He is set to replace veteran midfielder Javier Mascherano, who is expected to join Chinese Super League club Hebei China Fortune. How about a manager on the move in a transfer window? Juventus manager Massimiliano Allegri is on Chelsea's shortlist to replace Antonio Conte, and fresh reports say he has already agreed terms to join the Blues after the season.
Right, so that's from the transfer markets there. But this morning, I mean, some transfer news that should excite Manchester United fans. There could possibly be a transfer for Jamie Vardy from Leicester City to Manchester United. That has been reported this morning. Also for Lucas Moura, and also a return for Javier Hernandez Chicharito to the Old Trafford Stadium. I'm sure it will excite a lot of United fans. United are looking to find a partner for Romelu Lukaku now that Zlatan Ibrahimovic is out injured and could possibly terminate his contract for the rest of the season. But let's go on to a rather interesting story, because one of the longest careers in football has been extended after 50-year-old striker Kazuyoshi Miura renewed his contract with second division J-League club Yokohama FC on Thursday. So now let's go to our board again and see what makes this man so special. Has played for 50 years of his life there, and he signed his first professional contract in 1986 when he joined the club at the age of 19 years old, and then in 1990 he made his debut for Japan, his country, at 23 years. In 1994 he was the first Japanese player to play in the Serie A when he joined Genoa, in 1994 at the age of 27. In 2000, he retired from international team football at the age of 33 years old, where he played for 89 times and scored a total of 55 goals for Japan. And then in 2005, he joined Yokohama FC at the age of 38. In 2017, he was the oldest footballer to score a goal in the world totally, because he scored at the age of 50 years. And then in 2018, he has signed a contract extension with the Yokohama club. He will turn 51 years on the 26th of February. That's when he will turn 51 years, and he's still playing football actively. And that's the man there. Started his career all way back in 1986. I'm sure a lot of my viewers were not born by that time, in 1986, and he has played all through to 2018 there. But that's how we end the sports segments this morning on New Day. Rather interesting note to end the sports news. My name is Yao. There'll be more sports news later on the midday news when Nana Kojo joins you. Enjoy your Friday morning.
So the GRA is about introducing a new tax on the market, and it's the excise stamp tax. And we're going to talk about it for those of us who haven't heard of it, or those of us who will be hearing about it for the very first time. And joining me, we have Mr. Kwesi Bobie Ansa. He is the Acting Assistant Commissioner at the Communication and Public Affairs Department of GRA. And also Mr. Kwabena Apau Ewua Anto, he's the Chief Revenue Officer at the Head Excise GRA. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to TV3.
Good morning. Thank you.
So obviously, let's start by talking about the excise stamp tax. Some of us haven't heard about it, or some who have heard about it don't really know what it's about. So it's a good platform to educate us.
Thank you. Let me say right from the word go, let me make it, we are not introducing a new tax. excise duty or excise tax has been with us for a long time. The excise tax time, we are introducing it because we have had challenges with monitoring the payment, that is the right amount of tax that must be paid.
Right.
Because the excise duty is on the quantity of the products you have produced or imported. And we have had challenges with importers under declaring what they have produced, so also with the local or domestic producers. So GRA is introducing the excise tax stamp, as it were, to monitor the payment of the excise duty, so that when the stamp is on the product, then it is an indication that the excise duty has been paid.
Right.
So that if your product does not have the stamp, then it is an indication that you have evaded the tax. So it is a mechanism of helping GRA to know that the excise tax has been paid, but it is not a new tax.
Very well. So the tax is not new, but it's the stamp, the introduction of the stamp, that is the new phenomenon. Very well. So what kind of goods will be attracting the stamp?
Thank you. The very accessible products that we have. We are talking about mineral water.
Okay.
We are talking about bottled water, and that excludes, sachet water.
Okay.
We are talking about carbonated soft drinks like the Coca-Colas, the Fantas, the American Colas, and we are talking about also the energy drinks. On the market, we are talking about stout and beer, like the Star beer, like Club beer, and all the other imported beer on the market. We are talking about cider beer, like Savannah, like Hunters. We are talking about more drink, all the more drinks that we have on the market, whether they are imported into the country or they were locally manufactured. We are also talking about spirits, and then wine, including sparkling wine, and then cigarettes, or tobacco in general, and other tobacco products, cigarettes and other tobacco products.
Okay. So now that the stamp is being introduced onto the market, when is it going to start? When should we expect to see these stamps on these items? And for me, the other question is, what would it mean for the end user, the one going to purchase it? If I don't see a stamp, doesn't mean I shouldn't buy?
That is what we have been emphasizing. You see, many people have been pirating on other people's products. And normally when they do that, the product that is pirated, the pirated one, are not of high quality. And this program is to check one of these things. Because as soon as you purchase the stamp will stick with the buyer or the one who procured it for the rest of the life of the stamp. So for instance, if a company like TV3 Beverages purchase a stamp, the stamp will be in the name of TV3. And for that matter, if TV3, for the sake of analysis, affixed the stamp on somebody else's product, and we have gadgets to check the authenticity of the stamp, check the person who purchased it, and then whether the stamp is correct or not. If it is found out that TV3 actually purchased it, but it is put on another person's product, then it means that the product has been pirated. And so it will check all these things to make sure that people's products are protected, because people sink in a lot of revenue in developing a product, and people end up pirating, and counterfeiting them, and end up collapsing their businesses. And this is what we want to check.
So then it becomes a work of monkey they work, baboon they chop.
Exactly,
literally.
and that is what we want to. And many people also don't pay the right tax, as Mr. Bubi initially said. People will bring in maybe 1,000 pieces of a product from outside, and they'll tell you we brought in 50. And you have no way of telling on the market which products attracted the tax and which products did not attract the tax. Now what we are saying is that if you said you pay duties and taxes on the product, then let's see the stamp on it, because the stamps will be used to determine the right quantities that were brought into the country.
Very well. So I understand you clearly, but let's take, for example, I'm importing a box of water that has maybe 24 bottles. From what I understand, you are going to give the individual these stamps to be able to affix to whatever produce they bring in.
Exactly.
So supposing, even when you give me the stamp, I decide to put it on only 12 and leave the other 12, what happens?
And that is it, because the point is that we expect to find all the 24 bottles on the market.
Right.
So we will go out there with our enforcement team to check whether all the products that we made have the stamps on them.
Okay.
And any product without the stamp will come to penalties and then sanctions.
Okay.
Will suffer penalties and sanctions.
Very well.
And the people who were engaged in the manufacture or production of those products will also be punished.
Very well. So when is this starting? Where are we supposed to see these stamps on every product?
The Minister of Finance launched the program 31st August 2017.
Right.
The affixing of the tax stamp, or let me say the enforcement at the post, started on 1st January 2018.
Okay.
So the timelines are that from 1st March, if you don't have the products, the stamp on your products, it means that you cannot sell. In other words, 1st March is the enforcement date at the point of sale.
Okay.
You also ask him what happens to the product. It simply means that we have given you 50, you have used 20, so it is the 20 you can sell, but you cannot sell the 30.
Okay.
Because if you bring it to the market, there are, and let me say, these are the stamps.
Okay.
These are the tax stamps.
Right.
This is in a row of about 10,000.
Okay.
Yes.
So they can see the stamps. I think it would be better if we could turn the side so they can see there's a barcode for each product and that kind of thing. Okay. But the question I still wanted to ask, which I haven't gotten an answer to, is, and so what happens to me, the end user? If I go and I don't see the stamp, does it mean I shouldn't buy the product?
We will advise that consumers should desist from purchasing these products.
Okay.
And that is the essence of it. We want to protect people's businesses.
Right.
We want people who want to do genuine business to be protected, as I've said already.
Very well.
If you said you are engaging in good business and paying your taxes, let's have the stamp on it. For us, that is an assurance that the product is good.
Very well. So for us, I mean the people who will be getting these stamps, doesn't mean you have to register before you are able to get the stamp for the excise tax?
Exactly. As at now, like I said, excise duty is not a new tax. So they are already, if you like, our customers, the big companies and the importers, they have registered with us.
Okay.
But to get the tax stamps, you must register on the portal, that the tax stamp portal, www.ghana-taxstamp.com.
Okay.
So that you'll be able to get the stamps. Let me also that you must also have a valid taxpayer identification number.
Right.
As at now, the arrangement with importers and producers, I'm saying importers and producers because the stamps are supposed to be affixed on imported sizable products and locally manufactured products. The arrangement is that for the first 6 months, that is, I said that we have the enforcement at the post started 1st January. So from 1st January 2018 to 30th June 2018, the stamps are going to be given out free of charge to all importers, to all local producers, the Guinness, the Coca-Cola, the APA, whatever. And then from 1st July 2018 to 31st December 2018, government is going to split the cost of the stamp between the importers and the local producers and government on 50-50 basis. And then after that, government will review the situation. So as at now, it is free. And because it is free, we call on all producers, importers to come, just register on the portal. You go there and then you register and then we give you the stamp. And let me say that as soon as you register and the alert is given, you are in your factory or wherever and the stamps will be brought to your premises.
Very well. So I need to understand exactly how the stamps will come about. So does one stamp, if you gave me this stamp, was it meant for only one produce?
We have 3 types of stamps for different category of products, excitable products. One, we have one stamp for alcoholic beverages like beer, like stout. and then non-alcoholic beverages,
right,
like carbonated soft drinks, energy drinks, and the rest. And then we have one stamp for tobacco and cigarettes, and we have another stamp for spirits and then wine. So there are 3 different types of stamps. One for carbonated soft drinks, one for alcoholic beverages, one for the same stamp for carbonated soft drinks, alcoholic beverages, bottled water, and then the other soft drinks.
So basically, there are 3 different types of stamps.
And then we have 2 colors, one for imported products, which is purple, and then orange color for locally manufactured products.
Very well. So supposing, again, I'm an importer of bottled water.
Okay.
If I bring 10 cartons on this strip, and you gave me 1, and I fixed it to each of them, if I'm bringing another, are you going to give me another new set of stamps for the new set?
No.
I can still use the old one.
You can always apply for stamps.
Right.
The portal that Mr. Bobi talked about, that is where business is going to be conducted. At any point that you feel like, you think you need or require stamps, you can put in order and we will supply the stamps to you. But you need to file returns.
Okay.
To indicate that you gave me 10,000 stamps. I have affixed, say, 200 on this quantity. I'm left with this.
Okay.
But based on the quantity that I'm bringing in, I will need more.
Right.
But we will do the analysis based on whatever. Even if you were a local manufacturer, we will do the analysis based on the returns that you've been filing.
Okay.
To see whether you need that more stamps to be supplied to you or not.
Right.
Because we cannot continue to heap on large quantities of stamps on you when you don't need it, when others need the stamps to be, to have face on their products.
I understand that now. So you were talking about cost, that at least for now till about June, is it? It's free. But subsequently after June, when we come into July, do you have an idea what is going to go into the costing? Will there be other taxes involved in there?
Let me say that the cost of the tax stamps does not include the taxes and the duties involved.
Right.
My answer to your question is that government will sit down with the stakeholders and review the situation. But one important thing I want to bring out, it is about the options available to importers and producers.
Okay.
That is how do you, where and when do you affect that? One, for importers, they have the option of getting or obtaining the stamp from GRA, shipping it or through whatever means to their designated producers over the abroad, and then they will affix the stamp before they come in.
Right.
But I must also add that such producers or manufacturers must be registered with GRA through the importer, because we want to deal with credible, and because they must accept that they will affix. That is one. And then especially for occasional importers, if you bring, someone goes out, he sees something, some of these products, or I can make money, he brings them. GRA, we have we have installed facilities at the port of entry. The bigger one is at Tema. We have gotten a Ghana Supply Commission, their former warehouse, the big one. We have installed the facilities there. You go to Takoradi, you go to Aflao, you go to Paga, you go to Poglo, Akano. We have the affixing facilities there. You bring it, it goes through the line. Before that is after you cleared your goods from the port, you bring it there, and then GRA will affix the facility for you. And then the importer will say, okay, me, I don't like any of these options. I can do it myself. So GRA will inspect your facility in a warehouse, and then you bring in the goods, and then you affix them.
Right.
For local manufacturers, what they are supposed to do is to buy the equipment, that is the affixing equipment, install it as part of their production process, so that before their product comes out into the market, the product is also affixed. But let me also add that Parliament has amended our income tax law. They have given accelerated depreciation to companies and manufacturers who will buy the affixing machine for this purpose, so that in 2 years' time you are able to recoup the amount you have spent on your equipment.
Very well. Now, finally, let's talk about the punishment, the sanctions. So, if I fail to affix my products, what happens to me?
First and foremost, the products involved will be seized. And the taxes and duties involved in that infraction, you could pay 3 times of it. You could be in prison for 5 years, or both. That means that you could pay 3 times of the taxes and duties involved in the infraction, as well as in prison for 5 years. And the person, the goods involved, as I said, will be seized. These are the distance. So that is why we are advising, even retailers, distributors, to be careful when purchasing these items, to make sure that they have the stamps on them. Because if the products are seized, first and foremost, it's your products that are seized.
Right.
And if any punishment comes, you are going to bear the punishment. So we are advising these people, to be careful when buying these items. And we need to emphasize that, as we have said already, that this program, the tax stamp, is not a new tax.
Right.
And so manufacturers will continue to file the excise duty returns as they are doing now, currently. And importers will continue to pay the excise duties as they have been paying at our ports of entry. So if you are a manufacturer, by the 21st day of the month, following the month to which any transaction that you are conducting release, you have to file your returns.
Right.
The acquisition of the tax stamp or the affixing of the tax stamp on the product does not mean that the taxes have been paid, because it doesn't include the taxes.
Right.
Otherwise, by giving them free, it means that the taxes will be given free. Yeah.
Yeah, you talk finally, but let me give you the this is the way the tax stamp must be affixed.
Right.
You see, they must be affixed on the products in such a way that when you open the products, you cannot reuse it again.
Okay.
So for these products, it will be on the crown, but for cigarette, it will be on the pack.
Okay.
And let me also say that it would not be realistic on the part of GRA to expect that today we started 1st January, all products on the market will bear it. So we have given, as it were, a transitional period or a grace period. That is why I'm saying that enforcement at the point of sale will start in March. So if you are a retailer, importer, producer, and you don't have it, take inventory of the item, come to GRA, get the tax stamps and affix on your product.
Very well. I'm sure they have explained a lot to us about the excise tax stamp. Certainly all of us are on board now. You can understand why you need to have that stamp affixed to the product you are going to purchase out there. And I have been speaking to Mr. Kwesibo B.A. Ansah. He's the Acting Assistant Commissioner at the Communication and Public Affairs Department of GRA, and also Mr. Kwabena Apau Ewu Antu. He's the Chief Revenue Officer, Head of Excise at the GRA. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for explaining to us. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more. Stay here for us. DJ Sly will take us away on a break with some music.
That's DJ Sly, the ones and twos. There's more coming up here on New Day. It's a freaky, funky Friday. So we're starting the party for you. Don't worry if you don't have money in your pockets. Don't worry. The music is for free. You can turn on your TV, tune up, dance. Just feel free. More coming up. But our queens are back from Dubai. Queen Zainab and Queen Baba. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
I can perceive the Dubai aroma already. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
How you doing? Happy New Year. We've not met. We have?
Yeah.
Earlier this year?
Before we went to the
Oh yeah, I have short memory. Forgive me.
Anyway, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Is that it?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I should. Nice one. Okay, so how was Dubai for you? Let me ask you. Departure from the Kotoka International Airport.
Departure from Kotoka International Airport.
Did you have butterflies in your tummy?
No.
Okay.
I just felt like I'm going to have fun. And after getting to Dubai, it was amazing. We actually had a transit to Kenya.
Okay.
From Kenya, we went to Dubai. And then it was fun. Amazing, exciting, everything. And you know, Dubai is quite beautiful. Yeah.
For you, what was it? What happened in Kenya?
I would only say the Dubai trip was a magical experience.
Okay.
Kenya was also very beautiful. So I would say that when we look at the whole package, we visited 2 places, Kenya and then Dubai.
I see.
Kenya was really cool too.
So you got a double do. What was that single thing you did in Dubai that excited you the most of all the things that you did?
The motor riding.
The motor riding.
Desert safari.
Okay.
Baba was quite scared and all that.
Well, you were scared.
I was.
You're fiero.
I was.
Why were you scared?
Because I was scared somebody was going to clash into us because it was a free space. Everybody was moving around.
Okay.
But Zainab gave me vim.
Okay.
So yeah,
but
we're
you've
able
been
to
riding
ride
bikes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have a motorbike.
Oh, you do? Okay. But you don't have.
I don't.
So you were scared?
I was very scared. I was even crying at some point. I was scared.
You're ready. You sweet juices.
I was crying and screaming because she was just over speeding.
Okay.
Because she knew that was her area.
Her
She was
test,
just making me have butterflies in my tummy and later she was just
Did you were enjoying it? She
I
was
did.
Like, Zainab, climb that mountain, climb there. I want,
So
I want
climb,
us
want
to
to
go
see.
there. So I was just, oh my God.
It
I
was
see.
just a nice experience.
Tell me about the food. Was it any different from what you're used to?
Very different.
What did you eat?
I think we had just 2 meals.
Okay.
We did only burgers, fries, and then shawarmas.
Okay.
And smoothies.
But what
Zainab
else was
did,
there that you didn't try anything else that
we
you
tried
didn't?
their rice and it was such an experience. I don't think
it
I've ever
wasn't
tried
a long green rice.
Okay.
Colorful rice, and it looks.
It looks very different from ours.
Very, very different from ours.
Rainbow rice?
Yes, a lot of colors in the red, yellow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you were afraid that you were going to...
In fact, we had to change our meal on that day.
Yes. We changed like 3 different meals.
We changed it because when we saw rice and grilled chicken, we were like,
charcoal
oh, let's
grilled.
go for it.
Yeah.
So Zainab went for another, I went for another rice combination.
Okay.
Then just when we took one into our mouth,
just one spoonful and that was all.
We all had different expressions on our faces.
So, yes, the food, yes, the safari. What else was there to enjoy in Dubai?
Zabeel Palace,
Okay.
where the president lives.
Okay.
Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum.
Okay.
And went to Jumeirah Beach.
Yeah.
And Sagal World Mall.
Okay.
Yes, and a lot.
Did you find any crash out there? People crashing on you?
None that we can remember.
The sheikhs were not... They
Do you
were
remember
not there?
any?
No, I don't
You don't remember
No.
at all?
Because we were always indoors and all that.
Okay.
After we are back from wherever we go.
Okay.
Just straight to our
Who kept you indoors? I'm curious. That you couldn't go out.
Oh, we went out.
We went out,
the whole
but
day, the
because-
days were packed.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you
We're
go
so
out
busy
and have all the
and-
fun, you come back and you just want to relax.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So you were on the beach as well?
Yes.
Were there bikinis on the beach?
A lot.
Did
A
you
lot.
guys wear bikinis?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Not at all, okay. But I bet just whispered to me that we had a few proposals in Dubai, but you're trying to restrain information.
No.
No. You don't want to declare your...
I don't like that one. No,
I like you.
You like that one? You don't like that one?
Yeah.
You want to declare your accent right now?
No.
I thank you very much. So our ladies are back from Dubai. And if you are just wondering how they got there, well, it's, as a result of GMB 2017, the participants, Zainab was a top prize queen, and Baba is a first runner-up. They were out there, but I understand you met Sewa as well.
Yeah.
Sewa came up there
Yeah.
to Dubai.
Yes.
So what was big with the photos with hanging one leg?
I don't know where you saw those photos.
Yes.
But I'm sure maybe the person was trying to imitate the camel as you were trying to say.
Yes.
There's a song coming up for you. Too much. Is that okay? We'll take a break here. We'll be back.
Come back. So you had so much music from DJ Sly that we're just wrapping up. So we're going to talk to him. DJ Sly, good morning and how are you?
Good morning, I'm doing well.
So just tell me a little about yourself. What do you do with this whole DJing
I'm
stuff?
a professional DJ and I'm a marketer too, yeah. I'm official DJ for WhatsApp TV. I do VJ and I'm an artist too. Yeah, that was my video they just played featuring Ice Prince and Kid Switch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So very soon we'll be hearing you on, winning awards at VGMAs.
Yeah, probably, because I've been doing a lot of videos and are coming up and all that.
Very well. So we wish you all the best, but it's time for us to wrap up here, Johnny. It's Friday. We've launched you into the weekend. Certainly go out there, do whatever you want to do, but play it safe. Have fun with the family, the kids. Definitely go to Burma Camp tomorrow at 2 p.m. At Ponko Line.
Yes,
yeah, they'll be
Ponko Line,
showing
Recce Regiment.
the equestrian, and some dogs will be there. So go have fun.
Did you say do whatever you want to do?
Yes.
Like the Bright and Alpha way?
Oh no.
Okay,
I
sorry.
thought that one is dangerous.
It's okay, sorry.
That's why I said play it safe.
Okay, because Bright is like 68, so anyway,
It can be
Friday,
70.
I'll be on radio, Community Connect, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Tune in and let's talk about our communities. But DJ Sly is ready to take us on. The party continues. Make sure you're dancing Dancing is absolutely free. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend.